Why didn't you invite us to your wedding?
I don't think I can answer this in any way that will not offend anybody.
Has there been any impact on your chess since you've found love?
I should be very careful with my words right now.
Do you ever worry that you're gonna peak one day?
Guys like Alireza, Gukesh, Prague, they just see things so much more quickly. It's definitely a realization that I've come to.
So recently there's been a lot of pressing drama in the chess community, starting with, why didn't you invite us to your wedding?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, Ella, my wife, she's really excited to meet you guys.
Yay!
But
Got
yeah,
nothing in the mail.
yeah,
Maybe you didn't remember our address, or
yeah, I don't think I
Forgot
can
to send
answer
the
this
mail.
in any in any way that will not offend anybody. So I'll refrain from that. But I'm very, very sorry.
So how did you know Ella was your person?
I think both of us knew pretty early. We sort of dove into it. Both of us basically moved in on our third date, and we haven't really looked back. We've spent most of our time together since then, and it's been great. And for you kids out there, I will say that I never had any expectations of, I don't think most men dream of their wedding day and the fairy tale wedding and so on, but it was fantastic, and I think, yeah, if you find your person, it's an amazing experience.
do you have any advice for the young kids out there trying to find love? Not like I know of any.
Not us.
No, I think what was important for me was just to be patient, really. I've tried and largely failed before, and this time it was right, and both of us felt very sure about that early on. So it's been a great ride, and I think the best is yet to come.
Has there been any impact on your chess since you've found love?
I would say, I should be very careful with my words right now. No, I think I've generally, played quite well, had fun since Ella and I got together. I've won 100% of my classical tournaments. Granted, I've only played one as well. Yeah, she's great support at tournaments as well. Like, I think she understood quite quickly that I get a bit moody when I play, and she deals with that really well.
And do you want to have kids one day?
Oh yeah, for sure. That is definitely in our plans.
Are you going to teach them chess?
I will not force anything on my kids when that day comes, but I think chess is a great game. It's fun, so I think I will at least encourage my kids to test it, but as anything more than a game that they try, that's entirely up to my future kids.
And speaking of chess, if you had to relearn chess from scratch, how would you do it?
That's the thing, though. I feel like in a way I haven't done a lot according to the book. We talked about the rule of the square, right?
Did you actually not know that?
No, I never
Yes!
actually understood what, but I kind of know it intuitively, but I still have to calculate in my head. But I do sometimes get a little bit surprised. I was like, oh, I thought that king was faster, and I haven't really learned to organize my thoughts when I play, create like a tree of variations and so on. Like, it's all very much disorganized, and I think I've done everything in the way that's the best for me. And that's also why I'm not going around recommending how to do it for other kids, because I think like you need to find your own way. And the most important thing is that you're passionate. So I don't know. For me personally, probably I wouldn't have done a lot differently. And if there's an extra, 2% that I could maybe have gotten out of my chess career, I'm not unhappy about whatever untapped potential there was, because it's turned out pretty good.
And for top players, how much does talent play a role versus hard work?
For me, it comes down to genuine love for the game. I think if you have that, you will naturally work on the game without even thinking about it. So somebody like Alireza, for instance, or Hikaru, they may not have thought of what they're doing as hard work, but like they're playing all the time because they absolutely love it, and for them it really works. And others, like maybe somebody like Yukesh, has a little bit of a more of a systematic approach. He's more maybe a typical hard worker, and for him that's for instance, like he's never really played much blitz and so on, but he hasn't probably it hasn't suited his character. I think regardless, you have to put in the hours, but exactly how you do it, I think is very individual. So I think there is definitely a ceiling to how far you can reach without having like pretty much unique talent. So for that, I think talent is more important. But if you want to be, let's say, a top 20 player instead of a top 3 player, then I guess hard work may be just as important.
I know you said that you don't have a specific way to relearn chess from scratch, but for a mighty 1900 like me, what advice would you give me to pass 2000?
I don't.
He's being really careful with his words.
Yeah,
He's trying not to roast.
No. So the thing is, like, I don't. Is there like a? I don't know if
He
there's
was
like
1900 when he came out of the womb. He's not gonna know.
No, the thing is, like, I don't know, like, what the big difference is between 1900 and 2000, right? Like, it's. I think like
Let's say just for me to have like
have some
a big jump in rating.
Yeah.
I've been hard stuck since I was 15, and something that would make the leap. From all the information you know about my sister and I's chess abilities, our amazing chess abilities.
Have you considered Hammer's like new repertoire, like my first?
I tried Hammer's repertoire. We didn't make it very far because we kept arguing about whether or not I agree with the computer.
She just argues with Hammer every time he tries to teach her.
And sometimes I was right, and sometimes he was right.
Okay, I don't know if that's accurate.
No, I think honestly, I think for like taking a little leap, and just like getting better results, I think it's for short-term gains, it's probably the most important thing you can do is study openings and tactics. So
But you
I'm
just said
guessing
that
that's
you didn't believe in studying by the book.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some people are
I
built
just
different.
wanted him to tell me that I don't have to study so I could justify it later.
But you don't even have to study. You just have to have somebody. No, actually, if you're gonna play an opening, you should study like the plans and everything. So in that sense, I think Hammer is actually doing some things right. And like if you're gonna play the London, for instance, as white, then you should know how to play it. Not just think I'm gonna make the first 7-8 moves and then I'm gonna start the thing. You should know like in this and this and this, and I think more importantly, have a way of playing with black that ensures that you get a decent position out of the opening basically every time.
So get better openings.
Hammer
will be
but apart
reaching
from
out.
that, yeah, better openings, practice, like.
How would you
Andrea, you
recommend
actually
making-
have to
How
play
do you
chess.
make practicing fun as a tilted streamer who will try to entertain, often going on tilt, losing game after game?
I think I shouldn't be explaining what to do because that's basically what I've been doing to a large degree. Like when I was a kid, like every time I would play, or I had the chance, like I would go on my computer and play a blitz, and it wasn't to learn, it was like for fun, right? But I ended up learning a lot from them because I got a little reps. So I don't know, it's like it's very difficult.
For your own chess, do you ever worry that you're gonna peak one day? Does it ever stress you
I
out?
think I peaked a long time ago.
Really? When do you think you peaked?
No, so what I think is what is difficult in chess is to translate knowledge into skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely know oceans more about chess now than I did 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But my rating is lower, right? And I would assume that the quality of my play, like my accuracy and so on, is probably not higher now. And that goes for a lot of people as well. So I think your knowledge never really peaks, but I guess purely brain power wise, you peak like late teens, and I think there comes a point where the combination of knowledge and brain power is at its best. Once you're sort of past that point, it's really hard to recover. I think for now, like my peaks, my my best tournaments, my best games are probably better now than ever. But I can already feel that my brain is just it's just much slower than guys like Alireza, Gukesh, Prague, Nolderbeck. Like they just see things so much more quickly, which makes me just feel like I've certainly peaked. And I wouldn't say comfortable with that, but I it's definitely a realization that I've come to.
If there was something that made you extremely motivated to compete, let's say in the World Chess Championship again, like a certain opponent, do you think that would change?
No, I don't think so. Like I'm not gonna rule out anything, but at the moment it feels very unlikely. I love playing classical time controls, and for that I have freestyle, which I enjoy more. So for and I also enjoy rapid and blitz a lot. So going back to the classical world championship, like yeah, it feels very unlikely.
So tell us a bit about freestyle. Why are you excited about it?
I think there was a certain point. It's happened since Capablanca, right? That they were talking about the draw death of chess, blah blah blah. Yep. But I don't know if you guys realize it, but Capablanca, Aljechin, like they were basically going down the same line of the Queen's Gambit declined in every game. Like they were playing it as white and black. And yeah, I guess even 60 years later, Kasparov, Karpov, they were still playing the same thing. Queen's Gambit declined with both colors, and at some point, and I guess they were worried about that as well. I do feel like that is quite different now, because you have two openings. You have the Berlin defense, which basically ensures that the way Whites has always played with a Rui Lopez is now borderline unplayable, in the sense that you cannot go for the main lines. You have to go for some early D3 setup in order to get a game, and then the game becomes more like a slow Italian instead. And then you have the Semitaresh, which I usually call the D4 Berlin, where black similarly goes for an early endgame. So you have like both white's main options, I feel like, are quite severely blocked. And this was not the case when Aljechin and Capablanca that were playing. Like the Queen's Gambit declined, yes, it's a solid opening, but you can probe here and there. Like it doesn't, these are like concrete attempts to kill the game early on that are also very successful. It means that you're playing the London, you're playing the Italian at very high level. And if you think about it, the Italian and the London are essentially the same setup, just mirrored, with the knight and the bishop. Or it's I guess the Jubava London would be the mirrored setup. But I just think we've come to a point where, yes, I know that you can still find playable positions, but you have to like reach so far out of what is even close to what was considered optimal tries. Like all the best moves have been pretty much discarded at this point. It's clear from what is happening that classical chess is still playable, but it's becoming harder and harder, and you have to go like further and further out to find these tries. So if you have the option of taking this out from the very start and making sure that every game is interesting, every game is exciting, there is no chance for white to try and play for a draw for the first move. There's no chance for black to force the game into a draw, and you still have the time, which I think is very, very important, so that you don't, it's not all about rapid and blitz. Like this actually allows the players to be creative, but essentially you're entering the middle game from move one, and for fans as well, I think a lot of casual fans, they don't care if it's a Sicilian or a Spanish or whatever. Like they barely know those things. Like my wife is about an 1100 rapid on chess.com. She plays the Sicilian as black, which I taught her, but people don't go for the open Sicilian. Like they barely know two moves of theory. For them it wouldn't wouldn't make a lot of difference. Like she loves to play e4 as well, and then when people play the Sicilian as black, they go knight c6, and then they trade twice on d4, which like it's not a real opening, but that's like
it is for us normal people. Okay,
yeah, but it's like that's what people know, right? And so for them, the starting position is chaotic no matter what, and from my experience, people find it really exciting that we're pretty much as clueless as when it comes to the starting position as the others. So we had one tournament last year. The games were very interesting. Of course, in the final game, I was pretty much +1 against Fabiano after one move. I had the queen on h1. I started with g4, attacking his pawn on b7, which was unprotected. He played c6, and according to the engines after that, white is much better already, which says something about how much more difficult this is than regular chess from the start. That's what I find really, really exciting about it.
Do you think freestyle can ever become more popular than classic chess?
It's not a goal for us right now to.
Don't worry, FIDE isn't watching. Just kidding.
Yeah, to compete with classical chess. I do hope that over time that it will become more and more popular, that it will be a variant that people will play at lower levels as well. But honestly, I mean, for most people, if you're at a certain level, you love your openings, you love your little setups and so on. We don't want to take that away. We just want to give you options and show you something a bit different.
Well, as someone whose best advice to get better at chess was improve your openings, we're very excited to play some Chess 960, which we're actually going to do at the end of this podcast.